Welcome to another episode of The Healthcare Futurist. Yesterday, I was traveling, and as the flight was about to leave the parking bay and head to the runway, before taking off, they stopped the aircraft, and then the pilot announced that there will be a delay because there was some issue with the computer, and they said they'll try to sort it out there itself, and they said it might take around 10 minutes. But after 10 minutes, everybody patiently waited. We were told that they couldn't sort it out. They had to return the flight back into the parking bay where the engineers came, and we were informed that it might take 1 more hour or so. It was in the middle of the night, and but they keep telling that this is for the safety of the everyone, that they have to fix it before flying. Even though it was middle of the night and it took almost 2 hours to resolve the problem, people were a bit restless. They were walking up and down, drinking coffee, water, but everybody was, they could understand that this is something which is required, and then everybody patiently waited, and finally by midnight the flight took off. Why I am saying this example is because when delay happens in the outpatient department in a hospital, the patients naturally become extremely unhappy. One of the main reasons cited by patients in a hospital in an outpatient department is the undue delay in seeing a patient. Many people ask, we are given an appointment at a particular time, but it is almost 15 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe an hour or more than that, and we have not been called to see by the doctor. This is one of the most commonest complaint as a medical director of a hospital. I have to listen to and try to address that. Why can't doctors or medical administrations or hospital see patients at the appointment time and prioritize patients' time, prioritize the waiting time they have? This naturally leads to frustration and quite a lot of dissatisfaction. Now, it is not an easy task. It is not as simple as it seems, as it sounds. I recently came across an interesting article which was published recently in 2023. This looked into the struggles and the issues that makes the appointment time or sticking to the appointment time in an outpatient clinic, and what are the options that might help to minimize or reduce or avoid these delays. Now, first of all, let us try to understand the problem of waiting time in an outpatient clinic. It's a complex issue. It is often complicated because of the high demand and unpredictable nature of healthcare needs. Patient doesn't come with, all the patients are not coming with a same similar sort of problem. Some come with very small issues, minor issues, or review patients which can be sorted out immediately. But some patients come with complex issues that require more time, making it difficult for the doctors to stick to the schedule. In between, the doctors will have to go for emergencies. They will have to call, suppose a patient is sick in the ward, they will have to go and attend to that. There is a call from the emergency room, they have to go for that. This always pulls the doctors away from the scheduled appointments, which inevitably causes delay. Now, I always consider this like a courtroom where there are cases being handled, and the judges and the advocates debates on the case, listens to all sides of the issues, and finally pronounces a verdict. The consultation is also something like that. The doctor will have to go through all the investigation details, listen to the patient, examine the patient, and come to a conclusion, and then decide upon the treatment. Sometimes it can be very straightforward. For a review patient, it might take hardly few minutes to look at the review reports, and that's it. But for a new patient or somebody who has got a complex problem, what the patients also need to understand that this is something which is deciding their fate. What is the future treatment? So that might need time. It is unpredictable many times. Now, in this article by Hui Zhang and colleagues published in the BMC Health Services recently in 2023, offers a deep understanding of the patient satisfaction related to waiting times. I would request every hospital administrator, hospital authorities to listen to this article or read this article carefully, because it will give some insight into what are the options and what can be done regarding this. In this article, the patient satisfaction was actually less about actual waiting time and more about the alignment between the expected waiting time and the patient's experience. I'll elaborate more on these concepts of actual waiting time, expected waiting time, etc. This particular study, looking into the waiting time in an outpatient, a very busy outpatient department, categorizes waiting time into different perceptions, how these are perceived by the patient. One is the actual waiting time, the real waiting time a patient has to wait to go through the consultation experience. Now, second is the expected waiting time, the time patients believe that I'll have to wait for this amount of time. There is a delay, I'll have to wait for. That is expected waiting time. Perceived waiting time is the feeling that now how long the patients feel they have been waiting. When you are waiting for a consultation, for that matter, anything, the time actually becomes, the time doesn't move fast, it becomes slow. So this is that concept of the perceived waiting time. And reasonable waiting time and tolerance waiting time, that is when the patients consider it is unacceptable. This is not acceptable. No, they become irritated. They can't bear. Then that is when they start getting irritated. They start writing very bad comments about the doctor, the hospital, etc. The study discovered that the actual waiting time alone did not impact satisfaction as much as how well it aligned with the expected waiting time. I'll give you an example. If a patient expects a 60-minute wait, but it is seen within maybe 40 to 50 minutes, satisfaction is actually much, much higher. Taking into the example which I cited, the pilot told that the flight might take another 1.5 hours or 1.5 hours to get it rectified and then go. So mentally we are expecting that the flight is going to be delayed by 1.5 hours. And suppose if the actual waiting time or within 1 hour everything is sorted out and the flight takes off, actually everybody is happy. Conversely, if the actual waiting time exceeds the expected waiting time, dissatisfaction grows regardless of how objectively short or long the waiting is. That means if you tell that it's for 1 hour and actually the actual waiting time becomes more than that, that means it has become 1.5 hours, then the dissatisfaction grows. This highlights the importance of managing expectations of the patients. Psychological impact of communication. My experience on the flight reinforces what the study found. Continuous communication can significantly improve patience and tolerance. I repeat, the patience and tolerance of the patients. The pilot's frequent updates about what is happening, about the delay, and clear reasoning that it was for the passenger safety helped all the passengers understand and accept the situation. Even though everybody was upset, irritated, sleepy, moody, and walking up and down in the aisle, everybody waited, nobody shouted, nobody created a ruckus. In hospitals, a similar approach of setting clear expected waiting time at check-in and providing regular updates on any delays can help patients manage their expectations and reduce their frustration. This, to my understanding, doesn't happen in majority of the hospitals. The patients come, they are given an appointment time, they are waiting endlessly for their name or token to be called. Usually there is no update. Many times they see the patient going out of the consultation room, they are not told why the doctor has gone out. For example, if it is updated that this particular doctor's appointment schedule is running 45 minutes late. That means everybody knows that there is a delay of 45 minutes in the consultation. And suppose if the doctor has to go for an emergency, the doctor has to go to attend a very sick patient in the ward. If it is communicated properly, either by a display or through a messages, that there is an emergency, another patient is sick, seriously sick, the doctor has to go immediately and attend to the patient, and it is expected that the doctor will be back in 1 hour. That is expected waiting time. So everybody becomes aware of that, and suppose if the doctor comes back within 30 minutes, they are actually happy. So this particular study published recently, offers several strategies to improve the patient experience beyond just reducing waiting time. Number one is proactive communication. like the pilot's episode which I was telling, hospitals can set and adjust realistic expected waiting time based on the day's flow, how many patients are there. For example, one of the problem is patients walking in. Like walk-in patients needs to be adjusted. There are no flows, no shows. The patients know that, like usually there are 20% of the patients who take appointment doesn't come for an appointment. So all this is taken into consideration, and an expected waiting time is told to the patient, which is called the unfavorable information. So that if it is told to the patient, then they become much more, they can appreciate or understand the issues. This can take care of the unexpected delays. Number two is engaging patients. The patients are come to the hospital not for just 5-minute consultation. They have come to the hospital for an experience, and the experience sometimes can be life changing. So some people have come with genuine problems. People have come with cancers, come with fractures, come with chest pain. So they want somebody to listen to. For example, a patient when enters the consultation room, they want unlimited time with the doctor. They are not bothered about the patients waiting outside. So if the doctor rushes through the consultation, they are unhappy. So, but unless the doctor rushes through, the waiting time increases. So, engaging the patient during the waiting time, the hospitals can make the waiting time more productive by having patient fill up pre-consultation forms, symptom checklists, or allowing them to update their medical records. I'll give you more in detail about this. Many times, the patients walk into a consultation room of the patient without any of the records which are arranged properly or in the file. Many times they have to go back again and get the report. This unnecessarily everybody loses time. So while they are waiting, if the management or the administration tells them keep every reports in order, arrange it, document it, and then if whatever you want to discuss with the doctor, please write it down and be prepared for the consultation. So this sort of a proactive engagement can reduce perceived waiting time and make the consultation itself more effective, efficient, and shorter. Naturally, making the environment comfortable, simple changes like comfortable seating and information videos about their illnesses, making them occupied, and even light refreshments available when they are waiting can create a more pleasant waiting environment, making it less feel stressful. And number 4 is use of physician assistants or digital platforms. For example, if a doctor has gone for a consultation or doctor is not available at that time, he has to attend an emergency, a physician assistant or a digital systems can help collect the medical details and history before the doctor's consultation, so that when the doctor comes, everything is in place, everything is in order, so that the consultation can be quick, faster, and effective and smoother. Now, patients also should do so many things so that they can play or take a proactive role. Come prepared with all the relevant documents. So unless all the reports are there, it is very difficult for the doctor to study the problems, all the previous test results, and write down a list of symptoms, what you are going to discuss. Write down all the questions. Many times now the patients go outside and then they come back again saying that, doctor, I forgot to ask this particular question. I want some more time for the appointment. And another thing which is used, pre-appointment teleconsultations, if offered, can ensure that all the essential information is available beforehand. So in conclusion, reducing waiting times in outpatient departments is a shared responsibility. It's not only a responsibility of the institution, but unless it is seen as a shared responsibility of the patients as well as the caregivers, then only we can make use of this time. Hospitals can improve satisfaction by proactively managing patients' expectations and keeping them informed about the delays. Patients also can contribute by being prepared and engaged during the waiting time. This collective approach helps everyone benefit, allowing hospitals to focus on quality care without the pressure of adhering strictly to time. My flight experience, which happened recently, reminded me of the power of effective communication and how it eases frustration even in very, very inconvenient situations. In healthcare, the same principle applies. While waiting can't always be avoided, clear communication and managing expectations can go a very, very long way in improving the overall experience and satisfaction of patients. Thank you for joining me today in this discussion. Please do share with me your thoughts, views, opinions, and you have any alternate views on this particular topic, because that will be very, very useful and insightful for hospital administrators to implement this, so that the patient experience, the patient, the treatment they receive in the hospital is much, much more useful, and they have a pleasant experience in a healthcare facility. Until next time, stay informed and proactive in your healthcare journey. Thank you, and see you next time with another episode on the Healthcare Futurist. I'm Dr. Gigi Kurutukula.